Alrighty, hello and welcome back to another episode of Old School AOT. This game is actually not that old compared to most of the games on the channel. I believe it's from 2008 or so, but nonetheless, it's still a relatively old game, and will definitely be a little different for everyone used to the way the game is now. So we have a game between DoD Spoeft here, when he was known as XPT Aggressor, and he will be playing a set. And then up on the upper hand of the map, we have Gaia Goes Both Ways, aka Shooting Blanks, playing Zeus, his main god. Um, so I don't know, some of you might know Blanks from when he came back 2013, 2014, and he was still a good player, but before that, in previous years, he was a quite strong 1v1 player. He was still good, but sometimes people lose skill and it happens. So we'll really see what he could do in this game because there was a point where he was a really good player. And Spoeft was obviously a very strong 1v1 player as well, having been top of the ladder numerous times. We have Shooting Blanks coming in and going in for a very early bolt. So he made a nice scout path. He could have been there a bit earlier, but I guess he wanted to scout around. So that should give him an economic advantage going into the game. And I feel like Seth can sometimes have an economy that feels maybe not super weak, but a little more difficult to manage. And he doesn't have the obvious Egyptian bonuses that Ra or ISIS have in terms of just cheaper techs, prosperity, rain, stuff like that. You have to be a little smarter to get good value out of your economy with sets. So that definitely doesn't feel great. He has gone for hunting dogs, which is interesting, especially since he's not hunting. So I'm a little confused by that. Especially since there does appear to be a patch here, but unfortunately he hasn't fully scouted it. It does appear that he does see an elk, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure why he's there, but stuff happens, So then we'll move over to Blank Sky. Goes both ways. He is almost housed, and that's not good. So let's see, is he building a house anywhere? I don't really see a house. I do see him expanding from, I guess, the bear that he was hunting to over here. And, we are housed, and that is never fun, boys. So we're going to be housed for a few seconds, but hey, it's life, right? It happens. So, yeah. He does have some back hunt here. Does he see it? He does sort of see it, but again, maybe he doesn't fully see it, or maybe he's saving it for later. We do have a little aggression coming in. This deer is attacking. Not really much point in that, one or two hits it's dead, and the priest the priest got a little damage on it, which isn't great. We have Blank Scout coming around here, and the scout is just seeing basically what's going on in Spoef's base. He doesn't see any temple yet, so that knows that he's not going to go really fast. And this was sort of at the time before the really fast set advance into shifting sands. Either shifting a lot of your army or shifting your villagers into your opponent's base. I mean, don't get me wrong, this sort of thing still happened, but it didn't happen every single game, and people in general didn't have it perfected to such a science as the way it became in later years, where it became just really tough to play certain gods against set. And arguably, it really still is. So, that meta was there, but it wasn't developed. It was sort of like the beginning of that meta. So we see that the temple is going to be going up soon, but it looks like Spoeft is going to finish the monument to villagers first. And here we go, moving into the temple. So that's good. This is good positioning here. This will give him a relatively defendable wood line. It will really help to defend the gold line. Moving his villagers, very nice to get a little efficiency out. Always the hallmark of a good player. because those little advantages really do stack up, which is, you know, something we talk about in a lot of the games, but it really does work out that way. And Blanks has been scouting really well, really using the Greek Scout to the fullest potential. And, you know, you can really see that you can do a lot with the Greek Scout here. We do have some in Idleville here. And imagine, yes, it's getting cold soon and pulled away from there because that only has 57 food. So Blanks is obviously on the way. And, you know, he's not slow, he's not fast. It would definitely be a little slow by today's standards, but, hey, you know, the map was a little wonky. And, well, as we see, going back to what I was saying about the meta being different, Spoeft has not even started to advance yet, so we're going to see a 620 almost, almost a 620 advance from our Seth player. So really playing much more like you'd expect from an Isis or something. Although Isis players often advance fast too, but we do have Pickaxe, so we at least have one economic upgrade. How is Blanks doing economic upgrade wise? He has Hand Axe, Hunting Dogs, Husbandry. Okay, not bad, not bad. That's pretty good actually. And Blanks is up on Wifru Hermes, so we'll see what he goes up with. We have the Centaur coming out right here. So let's just switch over to him so I can tag that Centaur and try to watch it. Ooh, and what was that? I heard that. Oh, nothing. Just some bears attacking. Nothing too much. We have the Centaur coming in here, and he will be able to attack this villager and harass the wall. But we do have priests. Although archaic priests are really, really bad against centaurs, so that's not going to do much until Spoeft advances in a few seconds. Taking out that greenery, not going to do too much. A second centaur coming out, so this is interesting. A second centaur against Egyptian. Sort of reminds me of, you know, as the game went on, and the meta developed and developed, centaurs became more and more popular. And for a while, you know, people thought they weren't that great against Egyptian, but, you know, as the meta progressed, you started to see more and more skilled players doing very well with well-microed centaurs against Egyptians. And I guess here you can sort of see the foreshadowing of it, where he just comes in with two centaurs and kills the villager easily. Of course, in a much less, you know, it's much less developed. Keep in mind this game was played in 2008, boys. That was like literally a decade ago, 10 years ago, boys. So if you're 20 years ago now, 20 years old now, you were 10 years old when this game was played, etc. You know. So don't judge it too harshly, but you can definitely see how Zeus sort of developed, and we have the Hippocon coming in here. So this whole idea of the Hippocon centaur thing has been going on for a while. Still happening, taking it out there. We do have an armory going down for Spoeft, so I imagine that he will be getting ready to advance, and we have Centaur Pormo coming out. Alright. We got Mr. Audi out, and I don't know if Jason's out. I didn't see him, but hey, let's check the relics. Golden Lion. Titan's Treasure. Grubnir. Nothing really incredibly necessary. Alright, we have Blanks moving out here, splitting his army. Interesting. Spoeft is not yet ready to advance. He has completed this wall hero, so annoying, but that will be destroyed quickly. We do have one hoplite being mixed in too now, so we are getting a little bit of push potential, which is interesting. Although, you know, that can be pretty risky. Egyptians being the way they are with their free towers. We have the center pole marks coming around here, but they're quite near the pharaoh, so I don't know about that. They're going to probably have to back off there. There really isn't any room for him to get in and snipe. And, ooh, well, wow, good micro. And I must eat my words. Right there, that shows the power of centaurs. It looks like Spoeft was watching up front. And Blanks came in and just sniped that villager, despite the pharaoh being there. So, really, really good play.
Great.
And Spoeft is forced to adopt a more defensive pose in his base as he goes up with Nephthys and losing another villager to essentially the centaurs, and I think Odysseus too. This is really annoying because there's just enough hoplites to do a little damage, although I don't really like this too much here. I'm not sure he has enough hoplites to break this temple. And we are getting empowerment going down here, and Spoeft knows this is dangerous, so the Pharaoh's already there, and he will kill a centaur. Good pick off. Good counterplay by Spoeft to figure that Blanks would try that again, and he does make him pay for that. That's a very good trade for Spoeft. And he really needed that after just losing a few vills, so the threat from those centaurs is now really diminished because there's only one instead of two, so they can't double kill just by clicking special together. And Spoeft has now advanced. Economic upgrades continuing for Blanks. He has all the basic classical ups other than farming right now. Pushing going on here. This villager needs to withdraw. A little bit of pushing here. Not really doing anything. Taking a little damage on the hoplite. I wonder where... Oh, there you go. Spoeft has put his digital stronghold down right here. So, very nice, very nice. And, ooh, but the army's coming in of Blanks, and Spoeft reacting a little late, and that's going to be quite a few villagers dead. Ooh, ouch, ouch. Okay, that was a really good raid. I don't think he lost a single unit there, and he killed 2 villagers, caused some idle time. And more importantly, oh, never mind, forget that. I'm going to say something, but that wasn't quite true. But yeah, very nice raid. Tempo is looking pretty low, so I guess that could be picked in the future. We have another raid coming down here, another small raiding party. I'd imagine that Blanks is going to attempt to infiltrate around here. Oh no, he was pulling back. I don't know. That would be very nice if he came around this cliff and raided here, but hey, I guess he wants to reunite his army or something and just make one main army. Although, yeah, we do have the Egyptian army here, and Spoeft is Popcat, which is keeping his army a little small, but of course he does have,
Into you.
the cheaper Ceph archers, so, excuse me, not not cheaper, they train faster and are a bit, they just train a bit faster, so that's good, that allowed him to get in position to, resist. And, even though Blanks has a economic army advantage, he really can't come in here. The Midgel is defended, and he does not have restoration. So Blanks is going to have to back off for now, and that Centaur Polemark does escape from there. But Blanks has gone more into Centaur Polemark, so he is continuing to invest in this sort of mobile raiding. Decent, good economic upgrades for Spoeft. He's got an husbandry too, so he's probably going to start thinking about transitioning soon. And we might see Shadoof in a bit. Blanks is putting walls here. That's good. And the pole marks are once again slipping around for another raid. Will Spoeft see it coming in? No, I don't think he will if Blanks plays it right. If he can come right... that's actually a very no grab. It's unlikely that he won't be seen. Yeah, he's been seen. If Spoeft is watching. But unfortunately, Spoeft's army is deployed up front, very forward, and he will kill that, but he does lack the siege to make a strong concerted push right now. And at the same time, these centers are coming in, and they're going to attack his blue line, but Mr. Pharaoh is there, and he will repel the centaurs pretty easily. The Pharaoh is a very strong hero. And so, we do have this attack coming in here. But, once again, it's not really doing what Spoeft really wants to be doing right now, because he's pushing, and that's all very well and good, but without the siege, it's taking a long time to kill these buildings. And while that's going on, Blanks, as we can see, is going up to heroic himself with Apollo. So that's not an excellent situation, Not at all. This is intimidating, though. I'll give it that. This is intimidating, and if Spoeft can, manage to get some villager kills or perhaps get some siege out, the game could become very scary for Blanks. However, Apollo can be very powerful, although Underworld Passage is definitely a very skill-based god power. And this is what Spoeft needs to do right here. He's doing some, shall we say, chariot archer raiding, and we have some villagers going down, and that's good. Chariot archers are excellent raiders. They kill vills fast in the range. And we have Cease coming down from Blanks. I'm sorry, I was not looking at that fight, and it looks like it... Huh, he might have been able to fight there. I think he primarily ceased
Yeah.
because of the villagers and because of both. Maybe he wanted to take the town center too. Spoeft is unfortunately nowhere near in position to take the town center, and Blanks is just, I think this is what it was, just to take the town center. So, Blanks is a little lower on military population right now, but, since he has CSUP, that doesn't really matter. On the other hand, we see Spoeft's economy is really starting to stack in a really big way. His economy upgrades, he's got it in the Shadoof, so okay. I bet he will be farming soon. Ooh, and Spoeft has shifted part of the army of Blanks, I guess in an attempt to create a situation here where he can prevent the town center from being taken. However, he is withdrawing after doing that, despite holding ancestors, so that's an interesting move. I'm not sure what to think. Very, very interesting. As we can see, town centers are pretty fair, more or less divided evenly, and Blanks will be getting this town center up. So that is most excellent for him. It looks as though he has no, no. Yes, nobody has, ooh, and Spoeft is going up with good old Toff. So, Toff, yeah, whatever it is, he's going up with Toff, and, yeah, Meteor hurts. There's no doubt that Meteor hurts. Is that going to be what he needs to break out of this shell? Because, so far, Spoeft has been playing well. He's even moved into the score. The only downfall is that, he has very much been on the defensive all game. The Centaurs dictated the early outcome of the game and put Spoeft on the back foot. So as a result of this, he is sort of confined to this corner of the map, and now he's going to come out and try to establish a new gold mine. He does have this one back here, so he's been doing quite well with that, but he's going to try to establish a third gold mine for himself. And go for the front town center, I'd imagine. There we go. So there we go, and he's going for the back too. He's been going that for a few seconds. Sorry about missing that, boys. So yeah, Spoeft is definitely moving quickly to transition into the next phase of the game before his Greek opponent can, get too far ahead. And he does use ancestors here to secure his town center going up. So that's very smart. Ancestors will get weaker the longer the game lasts, and since this is his first real good opportunity to use it in an impactful manner, I think that was an excellent use. Meteor coming down, it looked like he was targeting the army, and that's not ideal. Spoeft just meteored his own army, so I feel like that could have been way better. That was very impulsive. Or perhaps there was lag or something. I did not see any comments about lag in the thread, so or misclick or anything. So I'm not really sure, but that was not an optimal use of Meteor. Would have been much better to maybe use it here, or perhaps just try to take out a bunch of infrastructure at once. Phoenix coming in, and Spoeft is taking advantage of this choke point to fight. And of course, Egyptian chariot archers are much better at fighting in the choke point for obvious reasons. But we still don't see any siege from Spoeft, so it's tough because even if he moves into a dominant military position, as he is right now, to be honest, he can't actually end the game without siege. Like, if he had siege right now, he could just come in right here. 2 or 3 siege towers, he could just come in and take this town center, and I believe the game would be ending, seeing as Blanks is only at 82 population. Let's go back to Blank's point of view for a minute. Just this big Egyptian army here. All he's got is some peltas. He's trying to kill off this phoenix egg so it doesn't come back, because But he is saving up food and gold, so maybe we have Mythic coming on, and maybe that's why we haven't seen him invest into army too much. And yes, he is coming up with a Hephaestus, so it seems as though it is a fast Mythic, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to be tough for Set to deal with. Set, really, I would say without Osiris, he really struggles to play against the Colossi. And, you know, Forge of Olympus, although it's less of a direct counter, of course, can be just really tough for anybody, you know, because the Zeus will just immediately get all these armory techs within minutes of getting Mythic, and he has nothing, so he's going to really, really benefit. And, you know, the Colossus, yes, he will be able to research funeral rites, I believe. I think that's what it is for the priests. One of the Nephis techs, not Spirit of Matt, the other one. But even then, due to the Colossus just being so heavy, particularly in this unpatched version 1.03, on Pierce Armor, well, you know, it can be hard to kill them. It can be quite hard to kill them, and priests are not pop efficient against them. So Spoeft is coming out here, and he seems to be realizing that, oh yes, I really need siege right now. So he does have a siege workshop going up here, and that will allow him to supply his siege to the front line, which is exactly what he needs. And a catapult, I think that's an excellent choice, a most excellent choice. His army is very low on melee units, so killing this catapult will be difficult, although the catapult is not being protected successfully by Spoeft, and the catapult is just given away unnecessarily. But luckily, there is another catapult coming out, so very good. But here we see the Colossus coming in, even the unupgrade Colossus, 80% Pierce, 1100 health. That's serious, and it looks like Spoeft is planning to transition into the mid to late game here with the 3 markets being laid down. He doesn't want to give up quickly, and what's this? Blanks has also set up his own market, but only one. He wants trade, but he doesn't need too much. For some reason, Jason's over here. Must have been accidentally built and waypointed. That's a bug that happens to Greeks. Unless you have your hotkey set up exactly. Ooh, and that's not good. We see the power of a catapult, even though it lacks melee units to protect that. Even without them, it's still pushing quite heavily onto the town center, although this Bellerophon, how will they stop it? I mean, alright. They killed it. Killed the catapult. That actually worked out to be a fair trade. Probably slightly in the favor of Egypt, because Bellerophon costs about 400 resources, but costs serious gold too. And what's going on over here? We have 2 centaurs from Blanks chilling over there. I guess he's just trying to watch to see if his opponent will set up markets. Very, very interesting. Deep metagaming. But now this isn't good, because I'm sure that Blanks will be going for... Yes, and I'd imagine he has Forge of Olympus now. Or is he? Oh yes, he does. So his armory ups are going to be essentially free. So if he can only hold on for just another 3 or 4 minutes, he will get a massive power spike. And Spoeft has attempted to protect against this by researching champion chariots, going for the lineups, which are very cost effective. Each lineup has given him an additional 9 hit points and an additional 1 attack. So those are very cost effective, but especially considering the discounted rate that you can build them at. But nonetheless, once all these techs go up, once once Blanks gets the full Pierce up, for example, it can be a little scary for the set player, for Mr. Spoeft. So, strangely, the centaurs are still here. It seems Blanks has forgotten about them. He has, however, recalled his hero, realizing it was there. And the fight's continuing to go on here, and Blanks is attempting to retake the town center, despite having almost no army there. So this is probably going to be stopped. But looking at his armory, there we have already bronze shields coming out. So yeah, let's take a look at the text already. Okay, not great. Not great, to be honest. But he almost has bronze shields done, so that's something. And well, let's just say that Spoeft only has copper shields, which really only good against the Peltas. But Blanks is continuing to just try to be, hardcore and prevent his opponent from really stopping him from retaking his town center. And so he keeps trying. He keeps trying to build it, even though he keeps getting targeted, because he knows if he can just keep fighting and stay in the game, then his armory tech will hopefully kick in. But at the same time, this army from Spoeft is still pretty big, and these catapults are scary. Ooh, we have Halopoli coming out, and that could be tough. Let's take a look at Spoeft's point of view, get a little bit of Eggy point of view. So this is what is a little scary about the situation for Blanks, though. We can see that Spoeft has a big population advantage, and of course, as a late-game Egyptian player, definitely has a serious power. So it seems that these centaurs over here were killed. I missed that, but I imagine that the Pharaoh must have come over and killed them or something. So yeah, that's good. It looks as though they might have killed something else. Anyway, sorry about missing that. But that was an interesting little side play. But, we're mainly now focusing on the fight in the middle because this seems to be where the game will be decided. We have a bunch of siege coming in. We have a Colossus coming in. And let's look at the armory techs. Okay, so, yeah. Nothing insane, but I believe we might have something else on the Myrmidon's Weapons of the Titans. Okay, that's good. Very good. So this is literally a completely unupgraded Myrmidon, and, well, without any lineups, just with the basic copper weapons and Weapons of the Titans, and it's already getting +4 attack. So yeah. I mean, Zeus armory techs are scary crazy, bro. So Spoeft has the population advantage, and he's still trying to defend here, but I think he's sort of being undone by his focus on chariot archers, and not that they're a great unit, but it's taken him a lot of work to kill these Halopoli, and he's making melee military a little late, The Axeman is completely unupgraded, which is not ideal in my opinion in this situation. So, but the fight's still continuing, and these Colossi, we're really seeing the danger that Colossi can do. We have most of Spoeft's army focusing that Colossi, and it is taking its good sweet time to go down, because, 80% pierce armor. I mean, that is just outrageous, and, well, they can soak up abuse. Spoeft has finally finished his market, and he's setting up the wall there, so very nice. He will soon be establishing trade, and he really needs that. Yes, he does have more gold here, but, the trade, you never know when something's going to happen with the gold, or when you could be disrupted. So it's always good to get the trade up, as soon as you can afford to do so, reasonably. And the fight's continuing here. It's interesting that neither player has decided to try anything on the side. Instead, they're just going for a straight-up contest and brute force in the middle. And I don't know. We do see the armory ups continuing to come in iron. So yeah. But I also think this composition with all these archers was not ideal because it has allowed essentially for Blanks to neglect the hack armor upgrades because there are so few units. So yeah, I'm sure he will be getting them, but it has allowed him to prioritize upgrades to defend him against almost every unit from the start of the game. Whereas, if there was a more mixed composition, each upgrade would benefit him a little less, and it would be more vital that he get them all. Whereas now he's only taken a few and got huge benefit from it. And now here we're getting the hack armor coming in, now that everything else is done, but it's the lowest priority. Blanks is still not really trading. I guess he's totally confident in his map control now. Or at least having enough map control to be able to have one extra gold mine. I'd imagine he would be starting trade soon because he only has one safe large gold mine left. But we shall see, right? And his map control is actually not that great, so excuse me for saying that. We do have a Pegasus coming in over here, so maybe we'll be seeing an Underworld gentleman, and that would hurt. Although this town center is a little exposed, so I don't know about an Underworld right now. I think he is more likely just scouting to see, what's going on. And we have even more Pegasus coming up, so that's a little insane. But here, you can see that the Siege of Blanks is causing issues. The Colossi is causing a lot of issues, and with more Alabos coming out. And he is making auto-queued Pegasus with 9 vills on the temple, so I'd imagine that he's doing this to try to draw his opponent's arrow fire. His Pegasus is pretty decent at drawing, the fire of ranged units. Sometimes you see the strategy on water where the Zeus player will get like that Hermes up, or just the up that makes it cheaper, and then they'll just make a ton of these, And it can be really annoying because you're fighting ships on water and that happens. And now we have Blanks going into the Underworld, confident that he's able to lock down the front, and he's going to be slamming right into Spoeft's only gold mine, as well as not his only, but his main gold mine, as well as cut his trade here, and he can come right back out instantly to protect his Underworld. So yeah, this is good, although he may be losing the Underworld, which is not ideal. I would have liked to seen it back a little farther, but the catapults are sieging it down, and oh, there it goes. Unfortunate. So it seems that these Pegasus have been mildly successful. I do believe. Let me see if I can check the tech. Winged Messenger. It is a Hermes tech. 50 gold, 10 favor. Hermes makes your Pegasus cost no food, trains them faster, and improves your line of sight. So if you can get that on, say, water, then you can just have a bunch of them group with your boats to act as sort of an annoying meat shield. Anyway, it seems that Spoeft has been pressured out of the game, and we can see here that he's more or less been pressured out of this game, not really by a lack of skill or by playing worse, but by the nature of the matchup not really being in his favor once Zeus starts to max the techs and starts to get the Colossi up. So he didn't play that badly. Again, for players used to, the current Googly patches and the current, high level of strategy refinement in this game probably did look a little ridiculous, but thought it was an interesting game, and we get to see 2 good players. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time on Old School AOT.